this is your check engine light. This is your warning sign. This is the sign that you need that nothing changes unless something changes. Boss bitch. Welcome. I'm Diane Flores, a former overweight, unhealthy, single teen mom living on all forms of government assistance turned IFBB bodybuilding professional. And I'm also the creator of Venus Fitness Studio, which is an all-women's personal training gym with a team of personal trainers transforming lives in our community of Modesto, California. I'm also the founder of the Goddess Body Elite competition team with athletes all around the world and a team of coaches helping women achieve greatness they never thought possible. But it wasn't all that long ago that I lacked the knowledge, the confidence, the budget, and the time to focus on changing my own health, my own body, and mindset. Fast forward past many failed attempts and lessons learned, I stepped on stage 16 times, earned the prestigious title of IFBB Pro, and in that process have created a formula for our clients that's changed lives and gives me more freedom and confidence in my own body than I ever thought possible. One that only existed as a daydream. My team and I now teach others through training clients in the studio, online programs, competition coaching, and now this podcast that you're listening to. I created the Boss Bitch Radio podcast to give you simple, actionable, step-by-step strategies to help you make profound changes in your life. If you're an ambitious fitness junkie or one in the making who's looking to up-level your confidence, create a body, mindset, and a life that you love, you are in the right place, Boss Bitch Bestie. I freaking love you, and let's get started. Welcome to Boss Bitch Radio. Today we are talking about a mid-year check-in on your goals. But first of all, did you set goals at the beginning of the year? I want to know, because we're going to go over what you did and what you didn't do and maybe what you can do now. So what we're going to talk today about is this mid-year fitness check-in, right? Taking charge of your health goals. It's not too late. Spoiler alert, it's never too late, okay? We are going to take a reflection on your initial goals, celebrate achievements. We're going to talk about reassessing goals, identifying some challenges, assessing your physical progress, right? Where have you gone? What did you do? What didn't you do? Evaluating your nutrition and your diet, your exercise and your fitness routines, your mental health and well-being, learning how to stay accountable, planning for the rest of the year. And then at the end, we'll talk about how you can work with us either in person or online to finish out your year strong with our signature program called the Goddess Body Project. So we'll talk about that at the end. But let's go ahead and dive in. So the purpose of today's episode is just helping my listeners, my boss bitch besties, the triple Bs out there, on assessing their progress on their fitness, their health, their nutrition halfway through this year. Because let's face it, we all start off strong AF, excited to do the thing come January 1st. Y'all, I've been doing this for 16 years. I see it every freaking year. But I want you to now take time to reflect on the first half of the year. And granted, yes, we're a little bit further than the first half, but I want you to look back in the rearview mirror because this is going to help you move forward and forward your path ahead, okay? There are going to be a lot of prompts throughout today's podcast. And what I mean by that is I'm going to ask you to reflect and ask yourself some questions, okay? Now, y'all know I am a hoe for journaling, okay? So if you do not have a journal, what are you doing? Are you even living your life? You need to get one. No judgment, but yes, I'm silently judging you. And it would be helpful for you to write down some of these questions that I'm going to prompt you to. If you find that your health and fitness is something you are struggling with right now and you might be in the middle of some roadblocks, or maybe you're getting in your own damn way, okay? Because listen, I'm here for you. I'm here to help you finally achieve those goals. So, just a reminder, it's super important to set realistic goals that are actually achievable. Okay. And this is important for you moving forward in your life because you don't want to look back with regret and overwhelm. We ain't doing that. We don't like that. We do not want to have rocking chair regret. Okay. This is an opportunity for you to not only maybe fill in the holes of where you fell off a little bit, but also celebrate some successes because we usually suck at that. Okay. If I'm being honest, and I'm always honest, I suck at this too. So we're going to talk about that and how to do that. We're going to identify maybe some challenges that you're going through right now, and we're going to recalibrate a little, okay, to help you either stay on track or get back on track. Okay, so first and foremost, are you ready? Let's take a reflection on your initial goals. So when the new year started, because this is a lot of times when people set their goals, you likely set some health and fitness goals, right? A lot of people do. Or maybe you set monetary goals. This can also work by way of other goals, but y'all know my specialty be health and fitness. So that's what we're talking about today. What did you set out to achieve at the beginning of this year? Now, questions for you to ponder, reflect, and potentially journal like the bad bitch that you are is, how has your fitness journey evolved since the beginning of this year? Take a moment to think about that. What were you doing when you started? Where are you at now? Okay, I will tell you, I started with mucho gusto like the rest of y'all. And if you haven't listened to my work-life balance podcast yet, y'all should probably listen to that because I'm going to tell you how it's evolved. And it has not been in the best of ways. Okay. I started off with a fire in my belly and just too much work got in the way and not prioritizing my health and fitness. And so now we're back on track. Okay. We are back on track and in the gym. So super important that if you did not set very clear, measurable, time-bound objective goals, this is a challenge for people to actually achieve their goals because they aren't setting them properly, okay? So again, using a journal, super important, or some kind of fitness app to track your progress is also very important. So take a moment. If you're driving, don't close your eyes, but if you are just simply sitting and being, or you have a moment to just take a sit, it's super important to visualize along the way. So visualizing where you want to be with your fitness goals by the end of the year. It's not too late. It's not over yet. What can you achieve? What does that look like? What steps can you take now to move towards that vision? I'm going to have lots of actionable tips and strategies throughout the podcast, but these are just some things for you to start thinking about. Something else to consider is, are your original fitness goals still relevant? Do they still make sense now? Are they still relevant to your current aspirations? The lifestyle, has life changed? Does it make sense for you to hang on and anchor to that goal if life has really changed or your desires have changed? If not, what adjustments would you consider making to align them with your present circumstances? What are you willing to change to get back on track with your original fitness goal? Now, this does not necessarily mean you have to achieve said goal in the next handful of months. This just means you're not sitting stagnant until January 1st, like all the other normies, and waiting to start over. Okay. It's okay to pick back up mid-year and restart a goal so you aren't 5 steps behind when January 1st starts. And I think that this is a common misconception that people think like, well, I fucked up the first 6 years of the month, so I'm just waiting until January 1st because, you cannot start a goal in September. That's ridiculous. Okay, spoiler alert, yes, you can. You sure can. Okay. So that's something I want you to really take a look at and think about. Okay. Next up, celebrating your achievements. Now, looking back at the first half of this year, I invite you to celebrate any milestones or achievements you've reached so far, right? What kind of things have you achieved in your health and fitness realm that you can say, okay, well, not all hope is lost. I started doing yoga once a week. I started ordering meal prep once a week and eating lunch, meal prep instead of going out to, have margaritas every day at work for lunch. I used to do that, PS, by the way, when I worked in the medical field. Don't tell my boss. But what have you done that has changed, right? Maybe you have not achieved said goal, but you have made a couple lifestyle changes that with time built over momentum will produce some results in the long term. But think about that. I also want you to think about how your fitness or the things that you're doing health related have impacted other areas of your life, right? So celebrate these things, right? Has your mood improved? Has your energy increased? Your overall well-being better since you have sprinkled in some fitness and health components to improve your life, right? Your sex drive, your productivity, anything like that can be directly linked to improving your health and fitness. It's important to reflect on the broader benefits of prioritizing your health because a lot of times we don't think about those things. We just think like, if I didn't lose 5 pounds, I'm a failure, right? If I'm not fitting in this dress I said I wanted to fit in by this 4th of July party, then I'm a loser. Hopefully you're not talking to yourself like that. I didn't work hard enough and therefore I am a failure, right? Not true. So what aspects of your fitness goals have you excelled in and which ones need some attention? And that's what we're doing today. We're just shining a light on how to be better, right? Okay. Reassessing your goals. We talked a little bit about this earlier. Now we've talked about celebrating your achievements, reflecting on your initial goals. Now it's time to say, do I need to reassess my goals? Okay. Sometimes what you set out to do isn't necessarily what's in your best interest. It's okay to be a little flexible and malleable and look at your goals from a wider lens and think, wow, I really wanted this thing, but the amount, like, let's just use competition for an example, right? I really wanted to compete this year. I wanted this to be the year I'm going to compete. And looking at life with a wider lens, my sister had a baby, or I took on this new role at work. And like these things took over precedence of the commitment that I would have needed to go into something as deep as a contest prep, right? Maybe you have a family member that needed some support, maybe an adult, a parent, right? Something, right? This sometimes will change the trajectory of your goals. Okay, as circumstances change, you have to adapt. Some other things to consider are, were you too rigid? Were you too strict and rigid with your goals and then you gave up? Did you try to go too hard and try to go from ground zero to 100, right? We see this a lot in January where people are like, I'm going keto and I'm going to do a competition, but yet have never stepped in a weight room, right? Like, did you set out to bite off something way too big that you cannot chew, that you just said, well, I can't do it, so I'm just going to give up, right? There is a Goldilocks spot. I'm here to tell you. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. And a big piece of my mission with the podcast is, while yes, I am talking about the extremes that are competition coaching quite often, I'm also talking to you, the normal, average, everyday woman who just wants to look good, feel good, change the shape of her body, get in better shape, get in better health, have more energy, be able to run around with her kids, on the playground, whatever your thing is. And sometimes when you just decide you have to go all in, and you can't commit to that level of commitment, you just give up, right? It's because it's too rigid, it's unrealistic. So that happens often. So I encourage you now to evaluate the feasibility of your initial goal. Was that realistic? Yes, great. What are you doing now to continue to move towards that? If the answer is no, what can you adjust to make forward movement towards that goal that is not necessarily have to be all in 100%, right? If your goal was, I want to start weight training, or I want to start an exercise program to change the shape of my body and sculpt and tone, and I need to be in the gym 5 days a week, but you were in the gym 0 days a week prior to that, that's going to be a tough one to maintain. So maybe now, halfway through the year, you scale back and you say, I just want to get into the gym or work with a personal trainer once or twice a week to work on this goal. I'm never going to know unless I start, because going all in was not working for me before. What is the next possible option that feels doable, that does not feel overwhelming? You need to start small and build on already established habits. That's super helpful. So if you're already maybe doing yoga once a week, or you're getting into the gym, but you're just doing cardio, you're already making forward motion toward your health and fitness goals. Okay, that's your small little bite that you took. What's the next small bite that you can take that you can stick to, that either someone's going to hold you accountable to, or you can make sure that by doing this thing, it is not going to overwhelm you and then have you back at square one. Now, another thing that's super important that a lot of people fail to do when they set goals is setting SMART goals. Okay. So I know some of you are like, yep, I've heard of that. Yep, I've heard of that. But are you doing it? Okay. Specific. So SMART is an acronym. It's an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Okay. So something that is not a SMART goal would be like, I want to lose weight. That tells me nothing. That doesn't tell me how much you want to lose, by when you want to lose it. It does not give me anything other than just that, right? A better goal would be, I want to lose 10 pounds by Thanksgiving. See how specific that is, how measurable and achievable that is, and relevant to your health and fitness, and also time bound, right? It's specific in saying you want to lose 10 pounds. The 10 pounds is measurable. It's achievable because it's not unrealistic, depending on when you're listening to this. If this is dropping in, the fall, September, October, November, would be realistic to lose 10 pounds in 3 months. If you're listening to this in September, by Thanksgiving, right? Very, very specific, measurable, attainable, achievable for sure, when you get very, very granular with your goals. And this is going to help you set the wheels in motion to then reverse engineer your plan to make that happen. Because you have a deadline, you have a very specific, measurable amount of weight you want to lose. And for most, depending on your set point, I'm going to throw that little fine print in there. It is achievable to lose 10 pounds in 3 months for most people. So that is reassessing your goals, right? Getting back on track with what sounds feasible and what you did in the beginning. What can we correct? Now, moving into challenges, let's identify some challenges that come up. These are just a few. There's tons of challenges that come up, or potential challenges, when it comes to achieving your goals. So mid-year, what have some common obstacles that have come up been? Think about those. Oh, this happened and that happened. We moved. Maybe you got married. Maybe you got divorced. Maybe a kid moved out. Maybe a kid moved in, things like that kind of shift the landscape of your internal, your home and your lifestyle. So things that are going to affect like your time constraints and, your ability to focus on yourself. So some other things too that happen and I'm just going to cover this one today because this is a huge one that happens, is your motivation. Bitches, I can't even tell you how many times I get in the Instagram Q&A boxes, which, by the way, if you're not following me over there, you need to pause this right now and go follow me, Diane Flores _IFBB_pro. Okay. But anyhow, the Instagram Q&A boxes often are littered with those of you bitches who are like, I just don't have motivation. I'm not motivated. I gained weight. I fell off. I'm not motivated. So motivation is a myth. It's very rare that I wake up like raring and motivated to be like, yes, I'm so excited to go like crush my soul on a leg day or like go on, slog away on the stair mill or any of that, right? Not because I hate those things per se. It's just because I just don't feel like it. Like I be normal just like everyone else. So it's helpful for you to have some kind of accountability. Now, accountability, yes, by way of a coach is fantastic. And we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. But it doesn't always have to be. It can be a workout buddy. It could be a partner. It could be a kid, right? Like I basically birthed my workout buddies. Okay. I made all of my kids work out. And I know what some of you moms are saying. It's like, this is me time. I don't want to have to train them and hear them complain and this and that. And yes, there is some friction and some growing pains that go along with that. However, if you sat down and interviewed each of my children separately, independently, and you asked them about how much they liked working out with their mom when they were 11, 12, 13 years old, they fucking hated it. Okay. And let me tell you, sometimes I wanted to stab myself in the eye with a dull pencil because it was a lot more work than I felt it was worth. However, now I have 3 children who are very, very motivated in their lives by way of prioritizing their own self-care, which is their fitness. Okay. And they're all very passionate about it. They all love it. Even though my oldest son is, no desire to compete in bodybuilding, he loves training. My daughter obviously works for me. She's a coach. And my youngest son is an aspiring bodybuilder. They didn't start that way. They fucking hated me. Okay. But let me tell you, if you have children, you have bred workout buddies. You have bred them yourself. Okay. So getting your kids to work out with you, setting a schedule, taking them to the gym, working out in your garage, whatever your form of fitness is, you probably have a workout buddy living in your house, okay? Or a partner, your significant other, right? Do something together and get back on track together. And these conversations sometimes are hard to have, but if you come from a space of, I feel very unhappy or unmotivated with myself, I need help, would you be willing to do this with me? Super easy conversation. It is not a we need to or you need to or blame, blame, blame. This is like, I need this. I need help. Will you do this with me? Okay. Now, if none of those are possible, maybe it's just you and your cat and you can't walk your cat. Okay. What kind of fitness community can you be a part of? What kind, if you join a gym or a fitness center or the Y or something, this can help you in terms of being surrounded by other people who also like to do this thing, or maybe they don't like to, but they're doing it. Okay. This is super, super motivating. So if you are just like, I lack motivation, I can't do it, you got to find a way to get your ass through the gym door. Okay. Through the door of wherever you're going to be partaking in said fitness activity. Most of the battle is going on between your ears. It is not once you get there. Once you get there and you get in about 5 to 10 minutes into your routine of whatever you're doing, you're fine. And you rarely regret a workout. It's just the mental bullshit that's going on between your ears is providing a roadblock for you to move forward and achieve your goals. Okay. Trust me, because I be knowing. All right. I know. Now, think about what are some other strategies that you've overcome, some moments of low motivation or periods of time when you felt like giving up. How are you reigniting your passion? How are you getting excited about fitness again during those times? Sometimes I buy me some new workout clothes, okay? I'm just saying, I feel like a bad bee all up in the gym when I got some new shorts on from Bombshell, okay? Link is in my bio. I wish they'd give me a promo code and sponsor the podcast already, but if you be knowing anyone in corporate Bombshell, please send them my way. Send them this podcast. Anyhow, love me some Bombshell. I feel like a freaking bombshell in their clothes. So when I'm opening up my drawer to get my clothes ready for the next day, and I'm just finding a common theme often where I'm like, I don't want to wear any of this crap. I'm sick of wearing the same old shit. Sometimes I pay a visit to Bombshell. I order myself something new. I buy myself a new pair of shoes. I buy myself a new tank top, a sports bra, something, right? That gets my juices flowing. Creating a new music playlist, okay? Super important. And I always say, when you create a playlist for the gym, let that be the only time you listen to that playlist, because it'll trigger your brain into knowing like, okay, when I listen to this type of music or these songs, it gets my juices going and excited for the gym. If you're always listening to that music, it's going to have no relevance or significance when you get into the gym. Music is super important when it comes to moving your body. Again, this is up for debate. You know, some things like yoga and meditation are often done with practices in silence, but for the type of exercise I'm talking about, music is a huge component to that, okay? So think about some ways that get you excited for getting back into your fitness routine, okay? All right, next up, we're going to talk about assessing your physical progress throughout the first half of the year, and also some tips for you moving forward, right? I highly encourage you to do a physical checkup on yourself to measure your progress. Did you take photos at the beginning of the year in a 2-piece suit so you could look at them later? All right. You may think nothing has changed because maybe your body weight has stayed the same, or maybe you've only, and I use the proverbial air quotes, you've only lost 5 pounds or whatever. If you have been working out, if you've been especially training your body with weights and weight training, it's very likely that you have done some body recomposition that isn't always going to be reflected by the freaking scale. Okay, that's the reality of sculpting, toning, chiseling your body, whatever you want to call it. Building muscle is what we call it, but any of those words basically mean the same shit, okay? Take a current picture. Look at that picture, put it up against the other picture, right? I love to do this for my clients, right? They submit progress photos every week when we work with clients in, coaching capacity. And they're a lot of times not seeing the changes. And I say, Mrs. Jones, let's take a look at your day 1 photos you started with me and, week 12, right? Very, very different. So again, using body measurements, photos. Also, are people noticing? Have people been noticing? Are your clothes fitting looser, right? Those are all things to consider when it comes to your physical progress and not just relying solely on the scale. Now, again, if you have thrown everything out and you're not doing shit and the scale's gone up and up and up and up and up, this is your check engine light. This is your warning sign. This is the sign that you need that nothing changes unless something changes. So again, I'm talking to 2 different types of people, those that maybe have fallen off and those that maybe need to get started for them to live a healthier lifestyle. Okay. Because it's not just about looking sexy and changing the shape of your body. While that's the main reason why a lot of people seek me and my coaches out, we want you to live a long time, boss bitch bestie. Okay. So that also comes by way of living with a healthy level of body fat and also growing strong and feeling resilient in your body so you can age gracefully. Okay. Now, if you have not been doing these things, again, here's your little, this is me coming around and smacking you on the booty and giving you a little, putting my arm around you and saying, all right, do I need to give you a knuckle sandwich? Like, what do we need to do here? How do you need to get some support here? Do you need guidance from a fitness professional, such as yours truly, my staff, my trainers, my nutritionists, or my coaches? Do you need support? Do you need a plan? Do you need a program? Do you need an adultier adult to tell you what the fuck to do? Because that's what coaches are, okay? They're adultier adults by way of they've done this many a times for many a people with success. Let's make you the next success story. So, if you are working with a coach, if you are working with someone on my team or myself or any coach who has impacted your journey, I want you to reflect on that. How has their expertise or how has our expertise impacted your journey? What has changed for you? What did you not know 6 or 7 months ago about your body, yourself, your mindset that you know now? Super important. Next, let's evaluate your nutrition and your diet, which is like the most important piece of this puzzle and transformation. But here we are, we're talking about it midway through. So, the role of nutrition is so important in you achieving your fitness and health goals, not only from a weight loss perspective, but a muscle gain perspective for you to look sculpted and toned, and also for your health, making sure that you have appropriate health markers for your age, your cholesterol, your thyroid, your blood pressure, all of the important markers, your blood sugar, right? All of these things that are going to help mitigate diseases as we grow older are avoidable most of the time by your diet and your nutrition. So, this is super empowering to know that you have control to a degree over your longevity when it comes to what the fuck you put in your mouth. Excuse my language, but I'm not going to apologize for that. So I want you to just let that sink in is if you are unhealthy now, if you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, that's not type 1, any of these diseases, if they go ignored, can potentially lead to some serious health problems. And this is Boss Bitch getting serious with you and saying, if you are feeling a type of way that is not normal for you, or maybe you just don't even know because you've existed like this for so long, let this be the warning sign you need that you need to start doing something preventative and proactive for your health, and so that you can indeed grow old gracefully and healthfully and have a good quality of life. A lot of these diseases that we see, like our grandparents and our parents end up with, can be prevented and managed by way of diet and nutrition. Obviously, there's exceptions to the rule with all kinds of different, health problems and diseases, but a good portion of them are preventable by way of diet and nutrition. And this isn't usually the sexy thing that I like talking about because y'all don't want to hear that, right? You don't want to hear about living until you're 90 until you start getting into your mid 40s and you're like, what the fuck? Okay, but let me tell you, this is the shit that I think about now, especially because I have young granddaughters and I want to be around when they are getting married and having their own children and I can have great grandchildren. And I'm not going to get there if I'm going through Starbucks every day and I'm ordering a mocha frappuccino and I'm eating, heavily laden fat foods and, excess in calories, and I'm not moving my body and I'm not taking care of the micronutrients and the minerals and all those things, it's going to cause issues in my health long term. So, what can you do? Can you start scheduling a delivery from a meal prep service, right? We have some great ones here in town. We work specifically with Fit Kitchen Modesto. There's a link in my profile. You can even save on that. Do you have older children that can meal prep for you? Now, I've talked about delegating tasks to my youngest son by way of a spreadsheet, and one of those tasks on there was he meal prepped for me, right? Like, I'd buy all the things, I taught him what I liked, and then I just tell him now, hey, there's some chicken in the fridge, there's some ground beef, there's ground turkey, there's whatever. Can you please prep that for me and put it in a container so I have it ready, right? You need to delegate. Your children are capable. My son has been cooking for me since he was probably 11, 12 years old because I bred baby slaves. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, teach these kids, because not only this isn't usually stuff they're learning in school unless they have like home ec and things, but a lot of times they're not learning how to eat appropriately healthy single ingredient item foods, whole foods. And so this was something I needed to teach my kids as they grew older. So it is our job and responsibility as parents to teach our children to be better, right? If we know better, then we can show them better and they can do better and opt for healthier alternatives. So again, meal prep service, have a child meal prep for you, or when you are dining out, choosing healthier alternatives does not mean they have to not taste good. Maybe you're not ordering, you go out to Mexican food and you're not ordering a burrito supreme with guac and sour cream and beans and rice and, El Pastor, that's a wet burrito I'm getting hungry, drenched in sauces with like refried beans and rice on the side. Maybe you're not doing that. Maybe you're having some chicken breast tacos that are like taco truck style with like cilantro and onions and some salsa, and you partake in like a handful of chips. There's healthier alternatives. And this is what I live my life doing because I've been an athlete, a competitor for the better part of 11 years. And with that came the stringencies of competition prep dieting, but I was able to understand that I could morph that into more of a lifestyle and not feel deprived. And that's the program we created called Ditch Deprivation, which allows me to be flexible with my food so I don't feel like I'm on some crazy strict diet, but I'm also not going ham on a wet burrito. Okay? Yeah, I said that, a wet burrito. Let's reflect on your exercise and fitness routines. What has the current exercise routine you're doing provided you in relation to your goals? Has it been effective? So questions for you. What was your initial goal? Write that down. What my initial goal was is I had promised I was going to start weight training 5 days a week in the gym with weights. All right. Next question. Is your current fitness routine in line with what you wanted? Well, no, I'm doing yoga 3 times a week and I'm doing Zumba twice a week. Okay, great, fantastic. Maybe your goal has changed, because if that was your initial goal, then you can see how the fitness you're doing now isn't in line with that goal. Maybe you wanted to sculpt and tone and build some muscle. Weight training versus yoga and Zumba are going to be very, very different, right? So they're not in line. You got to look at what was your initial goal and what are you doing now and what needs to change. So again, to that point, have you been exploring new fitness activities and workout routines since you created this goal? If you haven't, maybe it's time to consider trying something different. Maybe it's time to add some variety, some excitement. And sometimes that comes by way of your goal shifting. And maybe your goal was to hit the weights, but now you're just like, I really just love yoga and Zumba is super fun. And this is bringing me so much joy in my life. I look forward to doing these things. And the aesthetic goal is not a concern for me anymore. Enjoyment is. Perfect. I ain't mad at that. Okay, just move your fucking body. That's all I'm telling you to do. The other problem I see often is people program hop. Often, right? Did you program hop? Or did you stick to your plan consistently, right? Think about that. You start a new program, and I see this all the time because I own a fitness studio and obviously we coach people online, is people start a thing and then they're like, this isn't really working. So I'm going to go do this thing over here. I'm going to go join Orange Theory because I feel like it works better, right? Whoa, 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 whoa. Pump the brakes, Mrs. Jones. Calm your tots. Let's talk about this. Now, when you start something like weight training, hopefully those of you that have listened long enough know that's going to take some time for you to see results. Now, the benefits definitely come immediately, right? By way of strength, by way of energy, by way of your muscle shapes are changing. What you don't see immediately when you start weight training is you don't see the scale moving rapidly in a downward fashion, which I know as women are conditioned to think that that's success with a fucking plan, but it's not. Okay. Rant over. So if you are only doing weight training for 2-3 weeks, like 2-3 months, let's be real, and you're like, this is just not working. Weight training is a long game. So if you program hopped, you didn't stick to it long enough, stick to it for a year, then come talk to me consistently. But the fallacy is that because you're sweating and you're burning more calories in something like Orange Theory, that it's more effective for your end goal. Well, if your end goal, let me just shout it from the rooftops here, is to change the shape of your body by looking more sculpted, toned, chiseled, and athletic or fit, build muscle. Okay. Yes, Orange Theory has some fun little weights that you can play around with in part of their circuit because I have done Orange Theory, and that might work for a while for some people up to a certain degree. But I know you, boss bitch bestie. I know what you want. Okay. And you're not going to get it by way of just bebopping around off a treadmill and a rower and, doing a little 5-minute circuit with some weights. Is it going to be great for you? Of course. Is it good for your health, your mental health, and all the things, and possibly burning some fat and dropping some pounds? Fantastic. Yes. But if you are wanting to change the shape of your body for the long haul, things like Orange Theory are just going to make you a smaller version of your current self. You're not going to be building muscle tone and sculpting and things like that to a degree noticeable enough for you to be happy with by doing that. Okay. So this wasn't to like hate on Orange Theory because I know they're going to all come for me right now. But when you're talking about lifting weights and like, let's say you really need to grow your glutes. Oh, my butt's a pancake. My legs are jiggly. My arms underneath when I wave, you get that. We call them Hello Susans. And I apologize if your name is Susan, but you got the Hello Susans, right? Where you're waving and your tricep fat is also waving, right? The way that you change the shape of your body, your glutes, to get a firmer glutes and not have a pancake butt, to not have jiggly thighs, to not have the appearance of cellulite, to not have jiggly triceps, is by putting muscle in those spaces. The way that you put on muscle is over time getting your ass into the gym or weight training somewhere other than by way of a group fitness class. Okay, that's my rant over. All right. Next, mental health and well-being. So there is a direct correlation and connection between your physical well-being and your mental well-being. Okay. So in the past half of this year, are there any personal challenges you came up across? Mental roadblocks, self-doubt, anything that you need to address in order to move forward? If there are roadblocks in your mind as to your belief as to whether or not you can achieve something, you are going to continue to hit up against those roadblocks. You're not going to pass them. All right. Your mental health and what you believe and say about yourself and what you're capable of achieving is imperative to success with not only any goal, but specifically with your physical well-being. Okay. Your mind is step one. So are there any negative thought patterns, limiting beliefs about your fitness capabilities that you can work on to transform into positive affirmations? Now, again, I'm not telling you to just sit here and chant mantras and sit, on a rock in your backyard in silence and just reaffirm these positive affirmations on repeat, although it wouldn't be a bad idea. But you have to reframe the way that you speak about yourself, the things that you're doing, not calling yourself a failure, and knowing that you have the potential inside of you to achieve greatness. And it all starts with step one, which is just a baby step in moving the needle 1% better. You do not have to have all of this figured out. You just need to start somewhere and take one small bite out of this goal. What unhealthy habits are you currently partaking in, right? What is something that you're doing? You're like, I know this fucking thing is like, this is what's holding me back. I'm going out 3 nights a week with my friends and we're having drinks. And, this is distracting me from staying on track because then the next day I wake up and I don't go to the gym. And you know what those things are, right? Staying up late, binge watching shit on Netflix, and then you're eating a pint of Ben and Jerry's and, a family size bag of Doritos. What are your unhealthy habits that need to change? Have a real with yourself. Pull out your journal, write a list. My unhealthy habits that are contributing to me not achieving my fitness goals are this: running through Starbucks every day, drinking a Frappuccino every day, eating a wet burrito 3 times a week, going out for wine 3 nights a week, right? Not only are those unhealthy habits for your body, but when you sit there and you tell me that you can't afford certain things, because I be knowing, all right, I be knowing. I hear all the objections to getting fit and healthy and starting a program. I want you to comb through your bank account, and this isn't everybody. Of course, there's going to be some unicorns out there. Tally up what you spent in the last 2 to 3 months of this year in all of these unhealthy habits, and where could you have allocated those funds into productive, healthy habits that would have got you closer to your goals? Let me know. Okay, we're moving on. Next one is staying accountable. So the advantages of having an accountability partner or some kind of program that you're accountable to or a coach are huge, right? We know that when we hire somebody to do a thing and we pay attention. That is for sure a fact. We generally don't like to waste money, throw money at something and then not use it, right? You just kind of have like this icky feeling about doing said thing. So when you can, and again, I just told you how to figure it out if it's in your budget, right? Comb through that budget, comb through those bank accounts, my friend, and see where you are spending money on unhealthy habits. And where can you allocate even a percentage of that to working with somebody, maybe a coach, buying some kind of program online, maybe some group coaching program that you can be a part of if your budget doesn't allow for a coach, things like that. Now, if you're like, Diane, there's no room, I spend no money on anything other than necessities for myself, for my family, then there's an abundance of resources online. Can you start a challenge? Did you start a challenge this year? Did you start a challenge? Did you give up? Can you start one now? Of course you can. You don't have to wait till January 1st. All right. There are so many different challenges out there that even if you get started and you don't follow through 100%, but you implement some of the strategies and tools, you're making progress towards being better, being healthier, and also getting closer to your goals. There are step challenges, right? Where you have a smartwatch and you set certain goals. I love those personally. Step challenges are great to get you moving more. You can do some kind of like training challenge, right? I know the girls were doing like an ab challenge that was online. Maybe it's a cardio challenge or program that you start. Maybe it's an app that you download and you follow it through. Even some nutrition challenges, like a smoothie a day challenge. Like we've done that before in the past. Anything that is going to have a start date and an end date and some kind of progression along the way to keep you accountable to finishing, right? Also, very, very helpful if you have an accountability partner in this and a friend who is going to do it with you, a friend, a partner, a child, a work buddy, a spouse, anything. Somebody who you know would be a good person to rely on that is going to call you on your shit and also help motivate you when you're feeling low. I don't recommend picking people who you know if you say, screw it, let's not go get our steps and go get wet burritos. They're going to be like, no, bitch, we signed up for this thing. We're not getting wet burritos, right? So you know who those people are. All right. Community events. Can you do a charity walk? Can you do a run, a 5K? Google 5Ks in your area. You'll probably come up with dozens of options for that. And spoiler alert, you don't have to run. You can just walk them. But at least it gives you something to put on the calendar that you're like, okay, I have this thing coming up. And then you have to be very conscious about your choices leading up to that, right? you want to work up to a 13K or a marathon or some kind of, fitness event or whatever, you're going to really think about the choices leading up to that, or at least it would be in your best interest so you can be effective for that day. Looking at certain things that can also fill your need for a higher purpose, right? Like charity events are super huge for this, and partaking in some of those things like different challenges. They have like burpee challenges and lap challenges and all these things that you can start looking into that will not only help yourself with your health and fitness, but inspire others along the way and also help a great cause. So setting regular check-ins are very, very helpful with yourself to stay accountable. It's harder to stick to these when it's yourself. It's easier when you have a coach or a buddy or a partner where you meet up with them frequently. Maybe you meet up with them to go to the gym. Maybe you meet up with them to, start conditioning for a walk or a run or a class or something like that. But regular check-ins are huge so you can stay on track and you don't get lost in the sauce amongst your own bullshit. Okay. So very, very important. Now, if you're like, Diane, I've been an angel, none of this applies to me, I want you to answer this question. How have you managed to stay consistent with your fitness routine? Now, if you're on the flip side of that coin, how have you managed to not stay consistent, right? Are you making excuses? Are you putting things off? Now, again, all the things we talked about earlier are going to help you in this quest to stay consistent, but it's really good to say, where am I at right now? And is this a good spot for me? Is this comfortable? Is this manageable? Am I making progress? And if it's not, then what needs to change? If consistency has not been working for you, if it's been an issue, what strategies can you implement to improve it? Now, this is a perfect time for me to mention that we are launching one of our most popular programs that is called the Goddess Body Project. Now, it's exactly what it sounds like. The Goddess Body Project. You are a project. You are a work in progress. This is our signature program. It's a 12-week program. We offer it online. So anywhere in the world, we have girls partaking in this. And we also offer it in our studio with actual personal training sessions where you come in and you train with us in person. Now, if you're doing this online with us, we give you a strategic blueprint for your training, and you should have a commercial gym for this program. This is not an at-home program. We will tell you exactly what to do for cardio. This goes for our in-person clients and our online clients, like down to you're going to be on this machine for this long, achieving this heart rate, this speed, all the things. We spell it out for you. You have to not think about much. You just have to execute. Okay. The biggest mover and dial mover in change in this program is the diet piece of it, the nutrition component. Now, when you start this program, you will chat with your coach to decide what your goal is going to be by the end of 12 weeks. Then it's your coach's job to reverse engineer that strategy to make sure that you get there. Now, the way that you get there is you check in online every week with your coach. Your coach then looks at your check-in, your progress photos, and you answer a series of questions and decides what, if anything, needs to change for your program for the next week. They will give you new goals. A lot of times it's a scale goal they'll want you to get to, and they will help you troubleshoot wherever you're stuck. They will give you specific diet instructions so you will know exactly what you should be eating. If you prefer to do something like macro tracking, we also do that as well. And we will educate you along the way so you understand what you should be doing versus what you are doing in order to achieve your goal. So all of this happens by way of online coaching, which we've been doing for over a decade now. And it's a beautiful program. You can see a lot of our testimonials and our before and afters on our website at venusfitnessstudio.com. But we open this program and it's going to be starting September the 4th, and it's going to run through 12 full weeks. Okay. So just in time for the new year, for you to already be doing things in order to be ahead of the normies come January 1st. And it gets you set up in a nice, solid routine. Now, we know the holidays are coming, right? We know you've got Thanksgiving in there. We know you've got Christmas in there. And this is also another objection a lot of people use to not start something. But let me tell you, spoiler alert, you guys, those are 2 days, okay? 2 days of the year. And you're going to let the last half of the year go to shit because of 2 days. Not a good idea. Now, this doesn't mean you're going to be dieting for Thanksgiving and dieting for Christmas and you can't have Aunt Becky's famous fudge around Thanksgiving. This just means that we navigate your life around the events that are important to you. And when you have those days, you are set up for success to enjoy them with your family or the people that you love. And you just get back to business as usual the next day. And this becomes a part of your lifestyle. I actually believe that starting something like the Goddess Body Project, which is very high accountability because you're working specifically with a coach, at the second half of the year is better because it keeps you more on track to then start the new year already doing the things you're doing. And it sets you up to realize that you can do this as a lifestyle once you have set up your nutrition in a way that does not feel like a diet. Okay. So anyhow, I can speak forever about the amazingness that is this program because we've seen so many women go through it already. But again, it is a 12-week program. It starts September the 4th. We offer this in studio. We also offer it online from anywhere in the world. As long as you have access to the internet and a gym, you are golden and good to go. And we will get on the phone with you, your coach, because they want to meet you. They want to know what your goals are. They want to set you up for success. So I will link that all up in the show notes for you to take a look. And honestly, it's not just sign up and pay. We do get on the phone with everybody, even our online clients, to make sure that it is a good fit for you. So anyhow, there's that. So now planning for the rest of the year, that is the final step here, which we just touched on a little bit with our program, the Goddess Body Project, as a way to plan out the rest of the year for you. However, if you are going to go at it alone, I encourage you to set new goals, okay? Set new SMART goals that we talked about earlier in the podcast and adjust your existing ones based on where you're at now, right? It's also important that you create a realistic action plan for the rest of the year. So again, to my point, Thanksgiving and Christmas are 2 days, right? However, if you are traveling a lot, that's still not an excuse. You can still create a realistic action plan. You can still do a program or a plan. Life does not stop just because you're traveling. You still have to eat, okay? We're just going to teach you how to do it better and feel better on your vacation and your trip, which does not mean restriction and avoiding family functions and bringing Tupperware to events and traveling, right? This just means teaching you that there is a different way, which is not all or nothing. It's the Goldilocks method, which is our ditch deprivation approach that we use in the Goddess Body Project as our diet approach. So again, if this all stresses you out and you're overwhelmed and you did your audit of your bank account, maybe it's time to finally hire a coach to keep you accountable to stay on track. Of course, I would love it if our team was the team that you chose to get you back on track. But even if it's not, find a coach that you jive with, that you respect, that you can see some proven results, and maybe even find some of their clients, see if you can poke around their Instagram and ask questions and see how their clients feel going through their programs. I always encourage that. And work with someone who has a proven history of transforming people like you, right? We transform women across all walks of life in their 60s, into their 20s, across all spans of their life in different situations, being 350 pounds plus to being 97 pounds and just wanting to gain weight, right? So we can work across all levels. So it's important that you find somebody who works with people like you in your case, all right? And then invest in yourself once and for all. When you pay attention. So if you're ready to outsource that shit, throw money at the problem and have somebody tell you what the fuck to do. Get ready to do the damn thing. Sign up for our Goddess Body Project in studio or online, our 12-week program that starts September 4th. And again, you'll get a personalized strategy with one of our coaches for your online check-ins, your progress photos, your diet coaching, your cardio strategy, your gym programming, your supplementation, and setting weekly goals so you check in and stay accountable for you to succeed. So the link is in the show notes. I hope we get to have you in the program for the last one of 2023. And just as a reminder, progress takes time, y'all. Setbacks are natural. It does not matter if you do a program or not. Life is still going to be lifey. It's part of the journey, but we just keep going. And I hope this mid-year check-in served as a great springboard for you to achieve your fitness and health aspirations. And I hope to see you and hope I'm in your ears for the next podcast. Thanks, guys. Wait, before you go, Boss Bitches, real quick. I know we've just reached the end of another awesome episode of Boss Bitch Radio, and I'm hoping that you're having a blast listening to us and learning with us. But guess what? The fun does not have to stop there. If you are hungry for more things boss bitchery, fitness goodness, all the mindset stuff, all of the things that keep you motivated, you need to sign up for my newsletter. I know, I can't believe we've gone over 150 episodes and I have not mentioned once for y'all to be signing up for my newsletter because I've had a newsletter for 16 years. Every week I send out some content. Usually it's a wrap up of some of the podcast episodes with some snippets in there that's bite sized that you can carry with you in your little pocket. But you wouldn't know unless you joined. All the cool bitches be on my newsletter list, and then you can just reply and we can chat. Those all go back to me, like it is me. I do write the things. So I would love to continue to motivate you outside of this podcast. I would love to pop into your inbox occasionally. No worries. I'm not going to spam you. I don't eat spam. I'm not going to send spam. But there will be some LOLs and some content that you won't want to miss. So join our Boss Bitch tribe. I'm going to link up the newsletter list sign up form in the show notes, which if you haven't taken a peek at the show notes, you should probably do that. There's some good ass links in there. There's some discounts, fun shit. Go find the email newsletter link, put your name on there, and every week I'll be whispering sweet nothings to you in your inbox. And it's a great way for us to stay connected outside of the podcast. All right, I'll see you in your inbox soon.